Hello, and welcome to this week's In Space News. Once again, an article from spacenews.com. It's a summary of what General James Dickinson of U.S. Space Command recently said at an event. He's talking about a concept referred to as tactically responsive space, basically saying that we need to be able to very quickly launch spacecraft faster than what normally happens. So, when the government does it, it's at least a year out in advance using existing stuff and it has to be proven and all this kind of stuff. And so he's talking more about partnering with commercial entities that are doing these launches very quickly. They don't say it by name, but we know SpaceX is doing launches every week, every other week. They're getting new launches going. So partnering with commercial entities that can do launches that quickly um, will be of benefit to the U.S. military and the government. We need to be able to augment constellations or replace damaged satellites quickly when you know threat actors uh, threaten our space systems. Russia and China both have ASAT systems now, um, and there'll probably be other countries soon to follow. And so he says that to be able to, we need to be responsive to that and be able to put satellites back up into space very quickly, so that way, our systems aren't down for long. Um, he also states that we need to be able to rapidly issue software updates to these satellites. So this comes down to cyber issues are things that we talk about every week. We need to make sure the hardware going into the launch vehicles or these quick turnaround satellites is not compromised, especially as we start to, if you're starting to mass produce stuff, you're starting to do different things, it presents more and more opportunity for someone to sneak something in, because once you get into the rhythm of something, you may not be checking as much as you were at first, or for one-off launches. So we need to ensure that that line of production stays secured. And we also need to make sure the software updating process is secured against threat actors. So we know that satellites tend not to get updates to systems because they don't want to break the satellite. Once you break a satellite, you can't get back to it because it's in space. So they try to stay away from the software updates, but it does leave the satellites vulnerable to those old vulnerabilities. So being able to update them will be good, but we also need to secure against threat actors being able to get into that software update process and injecting their own code. So that's this week's news. I'll talk to you guys next week.